Alright, today I'm going to give you guys a detailed look at this THreezero DLX Iron Man Mark 43. And here's their DLX sign. Age of Ultron Iron Man Mark 43. So there's the box. Alright, and here we have Mark 43 outside the packaging. And let's go over accessories first. First we have the Infinity Saga base, Iron Man Mark 43, the arm, the articulated arm, and then effect pieces. And then this, I believe, is a tool. And then here are some repulsor blast hands. And these two are almost identical except for the tip of the fingers. They're a little more intense. I'll show off in a sec. And then another set of relaxed hands. And then here's another set of repulsor blast hands, but without holes in them. And then here are the forearm rockets. And again, there's the figure. Alright, so let us take a good look at Mark 43. First things first, when you get this figure, I highly suggest you look at the instruction manual, because there are a lot of joints that are really tight, especially around the hips. So you gotta be super careful with it. You just gotta know where to move them, or how to move them, etc. So there it is. There's the figure, and yeah, let's go over articulation real quick then. Alright, as far as articulation, head is on the ball joint. You can see right there, and then base of the neck, there's another ball joint. So really good articulation. And then shoulder pads are on a separate piece. There's a hinge right there, and then it's attached to another hinge up on top. So right there. So when you want to move his arm, best to move these out of the way first. And then the shoulder has a little shoulder blade right there, a butterfly joint right there that swings out. And one thing I do like is that the chest area, this piece can move down, shifts down, so which allows his arms to move forward without messing up the paint on this chest piece here. So you could bring his arm all the way forward like so. Let me show you top view, maybe it's easier. So you could swing it about that much. It's quite a lot actually. And then so you can see here, this piece is shifted out of the way so it doesn't get knocked, and it gives you a little more range of motion. And when I swing this thing back, you can see when I lift his arm, there's another piece that raises up, so quite good. So as far as our range of motion, he could actually do quite a lot. Look at that. You go all the way up like that. So that is quite amazing. And then let's shift that back. You can see there's a bicep swivel, really tight bicep swivel. And then you can see double jointed elbows. And it could give you a little past 90 degrees. About that much. So yeah, definitely enough for a figure like this. And then he has ball jointed wrists. And as for the torso, there's a joint up here which allows him to give you a crunch, and these two sections also shifts, so it gives you about that much of a crunch, quite a bit. And of course it can swing left and right as well. Can it tilt? It can, but it is very stiff. I'll show you how that mechanism works once I show you the battery compartment. And then the legs on hinges is really tight. The legs are really tight. So you go out like that, and you gotta be careful because paint does rub against this piece right here. So you gotta be a little gentle. Make sure you read the instruction because there's only a good amount you could lift. And then thigh swivel right there. And then the thigh piece can shift down, allow his legs to move forward a bit. I mean move up. So you can shift this piece down right here, and it gives you a lot of room to work with now. So you can swing his leg up to about 90 degrees, almost 90 degrees, just about. And then you can see he has double jointed knees, and then he has a ball jointed ankle, and this flap does move, and the back one as well, so it doesn't impede with the articulation at all. So as far as mobility, this figure is quite good actually. So let's see, let me zoom out a little bit, and let's see if I could give you guys a landing pose. So that's gonna be a little bit tricky because the hip section is just so tight. So gotta spread the legs out a little bit, like so, and then lift this leg up, like so, and then move this leg down, like so. Somewhere around there will be good. And this one outward, bend that knee, and then you could do the ab crunch, turn his head, turn his body a little bit, and then pull this arm, I'll pull this piece forward, swing this arm forward and up. Let's push the shoulder out of the way so it doesn't get scratched. And then you can tilt the head up a little bit, and let's see if I got this pretty much to that look right there. So from this side he looks very ugly. The leg is just swing all the way outward like that, but at this angle it's perfect. Look at that, the landing pose. And that's about how high his head could move. So yeah, he's still gonna be looking downwards, not like straight up at you, but yeah, it's pretty nice. Look at that, this is the perfect angle for the landing pose. And if you look at him from the top, kind of see his legs. This one is just swinging outwards like that, and from this side I guess you could adjust it like that, but it's kind of weird. Alright, then here I got him in the forearm rocket pose like there, so just standing and looking very pretty. Look at that, that's the forearm rocket, very good. See right there, really nice, really impressive figure. And it only costs like 90 bucks, so I think it's totally worth getting. Alright, so as far as the battery compartment is concerned, the head is different from the chest. So for the head you need to pull this piece off like so, top of its head, and then it reveals a screw right here, and so you need to remove that and then put two batteries in there, and the buttons right here, right in the front, and all you have to do, maybe that's the tool to press the button, maybe, but instead I'll use something else. I'll just use this, and then once you press it, if I can press it, it's just so tiny. And once you press it, then you can see the eyes light up, and I'll close the top of the head back up, and there it is. Those are the eyes. And then as for the chest, to put the batteries in, what you have to do is remove the top half of the body, and then here underneath here there's a screw. You need to undo that. Need to undo the screw in order to remove the panel inside here, this gray panel, and then the battery compartment's in there. Once you have that put in and screw back on, then you just need to press the chest, the arc reactor, and then lights up. So there it is, light up arc reactor and then light up eyes. And I guess when you get your Hulkbuster, you would put this top portion onto the Hulkbuster itself. And yeah, so that's quite smart for them to do it that way. And there's a little hole right here, that's for the peg system for the chest articulation. And here you can see you can move forward like so. There's the articulation moving forward. So if you move all 3 panels, then you'll get about that much range. And then this piece on top can also pivot left and right, but it is very, very stiff. So it could move left and right for him to move his body, but it is very tight, like I mentioned. So I don't know why, but it is very, very tight. All the joints are pretty tight for this figure. Mainly this one's tight, and then the hips are like super tight. Otherwise, everything else is pretty simple and in a good way. I mean, in solid articulation, solid pressure and stiffness, but it's not like overly tight like the chest and the hips. Alright, so as far as his height, this figure stands about 7 inches in height. I would say, yeah, roughly about 7 inches. And let's do a comparison with other figures. And here's how tall he is next to SHF. And here's how tall he is next to Comic Cave Iron Man Mark 43. And here's how tall he is standing next to ZD Toys Mark 42. And this is how tall he is next to Marvel Legends. And here's how tall he is next to Mayfax Mark 43. And one last thing I want to show you guys is, let's pop the head off. So, and there it is, there's the ball joint right there, and there's the head, there's the body. And of course, what I want to do is try the Stark head, the Tony Stark head sculpt, and it fits him quite well. Look at that. And I'm not using the ball joint, of course, but you can see it fits him quite nicely. So if you want a Tony Stark head sculpt with this Iron Man Mark 43, you could definitely use the Hasbro head sculpt for the 85. The 2-pack with Thanos, then it'll fit him pretty well. So yeah, there it is. And lastly, I just want to give you guys a close-up shot of the whole figure, so you guys can see what he looks like. And this figure is totally worth the purchase. I highly recommend this guy. For 90 bucks, I think it's a very good price for a die-cast skeleton figure. Exterior, I think they're all plastic pieces, but all the joints are definitely die-cast. So you most likely will not run into the issue of loose joints anytime soon. And yeah, this figure is totally worth it. Again, 90 bucks, I think it's a good price for it. And if you get the Hulkbuster, I think he'll go super well with him. And the Hulkbuster, I think it's what is it, 3 something, around that price. And just look at the paint job on this guy. It's really nice. And here's the back side of him. And I forgot to show you guys the flaps that opens up. These two right here. There are the 2 flaps back here. And yeah, overall a great looking figure. And yeah, I highly recommend it. And so yeah, there you go. Mark 43 from THreezero, the DLX line. Thanks for watching.